I'm Barkha Kishnani, the Artistic Director of ICS Theatre. As the Artistic Director, it is my responsibility to oversee and assess all aspects of this theatre group.
I'm going to be responsible for all productions and will be working very closely with our Artistic Director and the rest of the committee in planning and executing all virtual and in-person productions for 2021. I look forward to all the great work ahead of us.
Hi, my name is Priya. My role in the planning committee is to help with the grant. ICST has a grant from the township, so I will help write for the grant next year and whatever else the grant work requires. I also help out in marketing, and this year I'm also helping coordinate the workshops.
Hi everyone, my name is Swagita Sengupta, and for 2021 I am so honored to lead the marketing efforts for ICST this year. We have so many exciting activities planned for you guys, like play reading workshops, both in English and Hindi, acting workshops, and just so much more.
My name is Anil Joseph, and I'll be volunteering my time this year with the ICS Theatre as the Munimji of the group. I'll be using my faithful calculator and some spreadsheets to add up everything and make sure that everything tallies up.
My role in the planning committee is to help find solutions or answer questions related to technology. This year, being the pandemic year, all of theatre activity has gone online. So my role has been more about finding out limitations of the streaming platforms, what can be done with it, and helping others understand how to use these new streaming platforms that we have like Zoom and StreamYard.
It's the whole process of a production, starting from the script selection, to the auditions, to the rehearsals, the memorization of lines, the panic attacks just before going on stage, the butterflies in your tummy. The whole thing is very exciting. And at the end of the day, to see what you have created within that time frame, that is very exciting to me about theatre.
Because theatre is an inclusive and immersive experience, it is real and in the moment. More importantly, it is reciprocal, in the sense that it requires participation from the audience. You can feel and feed off the energy of your audience.
A lot of things excite me about theatre. Acting and the chance to play different characters. And over the years, I've learned a lot about theatre. And those learnings are not just limited to theatre. They are very applicable to real life too. They teach you about not dropping the ball, teamwork, having each other's back, staying in the moment. I could go on. Theatre is a lot of fun.
I think theatre as a craft form teaches us so many things. Leadership, humility, empathy, storytelling, teamwork, and just so much more.
Every aspect of theatre is dramatic, I would say. And it pulls you in. You get drawn to it naturally. The aspect that I get pulled towards the most is the acting. Why? Because you get to live many lives. Actually, not just the life that you're living in real life, but many lives. You get to experience and live other people's lives, which you would dream of or you would never want to sometimes, whichever be the case.
Theatre is very exciting because I think I like the community part of it. I like the fact that people come together and work together in a team to create something so beautiful. I like the storytelling part of it. I like the adrenaline rush. I like the fact that it's not linear. There are so many characters and there's so many sides to all the characters. So I like that part of it. And I think I like the backstage and the technical aspect of it as well.
Why not ICS Theatre? I'm one of the founding members of this theatre group, and it is very close to my heart. And I'm proud to say that it has a lot of talented people.
There are numerous opportunities to grow in ICST as an actor, as a creative person making flyers or digital videos, or even learn backstage activities. I also love working with this huge community of talented and enthusiastic artists who are just so committed to their craft.
I work as a consultant in the pharmaceutical industry. ICS Theatre has kept me very busy over the last year. Don't think I've had the time to think of much else. However, I used to be an RJ many moons ago and hope to get back to it someday. Also, I'd like to think I'm a decent bathroom singer.
I'm a software engineer and I love my job, so I love working. And outside of work, I watch a lot of TV and I love catching up with friends.
I work in the project management group for an energy company in New Jersey. And then outside of work and beyond planning activities for ICST in 2021, I try to improve my skills in singing and playing the piano.
I work at a financial firm in New York City, so that keeps me plenty busy. I try to do a little bit of reading, watch TV, and I try to spend as much time as I can with my growing kids while they still have the time for us parents.
Outside of theater, I like to write. I write poems. I write poems in Hindi and English. I write short stories and I've also written essays. I'm an academic. I'm a professor of economics in a state university, and I'm a mother to two young boys, young men.
Karaoke nights with friends, and going back to the stage.
Just getting back to some sort of normalcy. Hopefully we can do at least one performance on stage this year and I get a chance to meet the wonderful family of ICST in person.
Without a doubt, meeting people. I can't wait to meet up with people in person, and I'm most looking forward to travel to India.
End of the pandemic. That's what I'm looking forward to. Getting back on stage and getting back to normal life. That's what I'm looking forward to in 2021. Fingers crossed.
I'm looking forward to getting a shot in my arm. I'm looking forward to meeting my parents in India, if possible, if I can travel. I'm looking forward to the ICST activities, and I'm looking forward to meeting people, my students, my friends, in more close quarters than we're meeting right now.
My favorite play, Noise is Off. My favorite show, Breaking Bad.
That's a tough one. Let's see. I'd say House of Cards and Breaking Bad on Netflix. And definitely Mirzapur on Amazon Prime.
My most favorite TV show is Breaking Bad. It's available on Netflix now, but that's my all-time favorite show. My most favorite play would be All the Best.
I love Breaking Bad and Little Things.
Anything with Mohanlal in it. Mohanlal is a Malayali actor, tremendously talented, and anything and everything that he does.
I do not watch Netflix too much, but whatever I have watched of those, I'm a sucker for female protagonist shows. So two shows which I really liked. One is Unorthodox and the other is The Queen's Gambit.
So follow us on YouTube at ICSTheatreNJ as well as Facebook to stay updated with the various activities.
Hi, I'm Anita, and I've been doing the play readings and workshops with ICS Theatre for the past year. I've always been interested in the performing arts, but as a working mom, just never had the time to dive fully into it. When the pandemic hit and ICS Theatre started these play readings and workshops over Zoom, I just grabbed the opportunity with open arms, and since then, there was no looking back. It has been a wonderful experience getting to meet all of these wonderful people, and sharing these experiences with them and learning so much in this past year from my peers and from the directors that we work with. I couldn't ask for anything more. So thank you so much, ICS Theatre, for sharing your love of theatre with people like me and allowing us to learn and absorb and basically just have fun doing it all. Thank you so much, ICS Theatre.
Hey guys, Today I was lucky to be part of the play reading East is East with Dr. Farley Richardson. It was my first experience in after COVID to be part of such online reading. It was 3 hours. I put my phone on do not disturb mode and I didn't realize where those 3 hours went by. It was so much fun. The story was good, the cast was good, everybody did their best, and it was just amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed. Thank you so much, ICST, for putting this together and inviting me and making me part of the team. Thank you so much again.
Hello everyone, my name is Gaurav Shah and I just wanted to share my experience from a really fun play reading workshop that I attended with ICS Theatre last week. The play was called East is East and the workshop was led by Dr. Farley Richmond, who shared his insights about this particular play as well as theatre in general, and there was a really good discussion afterwards. Great opportunity, a great way to learn about a new play that you probably would not have otherwise had exposure to. I know I wouldn't have, as well as engage in a really fun discussion afterwards. So I would strongly recommend it to anyone who's interested, and thanks again to ICS Theatre for this opportunity.
Hi, my name is Meera and I am honored to be speaking about ICST. How did I come across ICST? Well, I've been, in the performing arts for more than 4 decades, mostly acting and in all kind of performing media. And when we belong to a theater group based in the Washington DC metro area, which is almost more than 35 years old. And we used to go perform in New Jersey for a theater festival. That's when I came across ICST's performances that were mounted by them, and I just loved it, especially the ones directed by Mahesh Dattani and Dr. Farley Richard. Just fantastic productions, which I was always impressed, and I was like, never dreamt, though I wanted to be part of ICST, but never thought I would be. And then COVID hit. COVID shut all doors but opened Zoom windows, so many. I'm so thankful for that, because Barka Krishnani, the founder of ICST, contacted me as soon as they went zooming away, and then I joined the team. It's almost a year plus now, and I'm so thrilled. I was part of all the readings that would occur on Saturdays, Sundays, and Wednesdays. So it was a blessing in disguise for me, because during the quarantine for about a year, started in March of 2020, and now it's March 2021. I got to read more than 60 plays, half of which were ICST plays. I read with other groups too, and they were fantastic. And I got to perform in 7 different performances, out of which one was ICST performance. And I was just background in another one of their stage Zoom shows. And I'm excited and honored to be part of this group there, and this is such fantastic camaraderie in the group, just is heartwarming. So thank you again, and I hope many of you will join and get this opportunity that I've had. Thank you. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Debjani Banerjee, and the play readings that ICS Theatre started last year was to keep our patrons and members engaged during the quarantine period, as stages all around the community and the world were being shut down. So this was a wonderful way to keep our love for theatre alive. And over the months, what it has done is given an opportunity to connect with members of community across states. We met people from Maryland, Washington, Virginia, California, and read some wonderful plays and discussed after the play reading with either Dr. Farley or Mahesh Dattani presiding over those sessions. And they do a fantastic job of letting us talk about our creative insights into the plays and how we would direct or what the stage would look like, various aspects of the play. So it's a wonderful opportunity, and I think I feel that it's become a lifeline for me through the pandemic. So thank you, ICS Theatre.
Hi, my name is Vanita Nargund and I'm ICST member since last 2 years. I'm here to talk about my experience since last year with the ICST's play reading workshop. We had a lot of challenges during COVID-19, but the play reading workshops were one of the things I used to look forward. I was fortunate enough to participate in many of them, including Final Solutions, directed by Mr. Mahesh Dattani, Moan Over Buffalo, directed by Dr. Farley Richardson, and House of Bernarda Alba, also directed by Dr. Farley Richardson. I have enjoyed reading all of these plays, including many more. And what I have enjoyed even more was the discussions we used to have after the play reading, which gave me tremendous amount of learning techniques, how to present myself, how to put myself in the character's role, how to say the dialogues, and get the opinion of other teammates, other artists who were reading in the plays. It was very useful for me to improve my skills, and I have to thank ICST for giving me this opportunity. And I'm looking forward to reading many more plays and maybe one day be on the stage with the talented artists of ICST.
Hello everyone, my name is Matthew Lee and I am currently a sophomore at East Brunswick High School. I was the first winner of the Emerging Artist Competition in 2019 and I am truly grateful to ICS Theatre for having brought my words to life. I would like to thank Barca for organizing this competition, the talented actress Aaron and Venki, and to Nikar for directing my play. When I wrote my play, A Picture Worth 1,000 Words, I never expected to see it performed by real people and real actors. Watching my words being read on stage was a fantastic experience that helped me grow as a writer. It was very interesting to see how others interpreted my characters and portrayed their personalities. Winning this competition inspired me to continue writing, and I've gone on to explore different writing styles and win awards in other competitions, including the Scholastic Art and Writing Competition and the New Jersey State Bar Association's essay contest. My play was a comedy about two friends who visit an art museum and develop an appreciation for art. During this pandemic, it is even more important to appreciate all kinds of art. I am so glad that ICS is able to continue running this amazing competition and offers such a unique opportunity to aspiring writers. I hope this year's winner will have just as great of an experience as I did and be inspired to continue writing. I cannot wait to see what kind of story this year's winner will tell. I hope everyone will enjoy the play reading as much as I will, and I wish everyone the best.
Sepulveda Pizarro, and I am the winner of ICS Theatre's Emerging Artist Playwriting Contest for the year 2020. My winning play, Defying Gravity, follows Edith, a first-year wrestler who must find the courage to not only keep going after failure, but also to speak up for herself. And ultimately, these are experiences that we all go through in life in our own way. And when I write, I like to draw from my personal experiences while still creating some completely different and unique stories, and finding characters that are realistic and relatable and really bring the story together. I am also happy to share that Defying Gravity won a recognition from the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards, and that a short story that I wrote earned a gold key at a regional level at the same competition. And whether it is through a play or a short story, one of the most beautiful things about writing is that you can inspire people, and I really hope that my words get to change the world someday.
Hi, my name is Isha Kripalani, and today I wanted to talk about something that when performed with your heart can create a magical world. Maybe you guessed it. I was talking about performing arts, mainly theater. I was introduced to theater by my dad, who started theater with ICS and has been involved with many productions. He always comes back from rehearsals showing us some cool and fun things. So back in elementary school, when we had theater week, I joined, and in 5th grade, when we did The Rotten Princess, I got selected to play the Rotten Princess. I loved being on stage and being part of this production. So in the summer, I did theater week, where we did a melody of different Broadway songs. All of them got stuck in my head, and I was constantly singing them. In the summer, I did a workshop with ICS Theatre that focused on voice modulation, and I really enjoyed that too. My sister has been a huge Broadway fan, and that's how I got introduced to Broadway. My favorite shows have been Hamilton and Come From Away. I began to appreciate these musicals recently, and I can't wait for everything to open up and for us to be able to go and watch these shows safely again. So today I thought I'd share with you some common theater terms that you might have heard of, or some might be new for you. So let's start off with theater seating. So imagine you've entered the lobby and now you've entered the auditorium. This is the house. In the house, there is an orchestra. This is the most expensive section because it is closest to the stage. In the orchestra, there is also a spit zone, and you can probably guess why it's called that. Next, there is the mezzanine. This is the second seating tier, usually hanging above the orchestra at its center point. There is also the balcony, which is usually called the cheap seats because they're located farthest from the stage. In addition, there is the orchestra pit. This is a lowered area in between the stage and the orchestra. This is where the musicians perform during the show. In addition, there are boxes. These are two seating tiers located on both sides of the stage. One more thing, there are directions. So when you enter the auditorium and you're facing the stage, on your left is house left and on your right is house right. I will refer to this again. Now let's get on to the stage. Directions are not only used for seating, but actors use it on stage to help them know which way they are facing. So standing on stage, facing the audience, stage left would be your left and stage right is your right. This can get confusing because if you're facing back, you might mess it up. There's also downstage and upstage. Downstage is located closer to the audience and upstage is the farther apart. It is called this because a long time ago, the stage used to be on a slant, so the part closer to the audience would be down and farther would be up, which is why you have downstage and upstage. There is also center stage, which is the center point on the stage. There is also something called the fourth wall. The fourth wall is not a real wall, but it is almost a barrier that separates the performers from the audience. Performers usually never cross this wall, but in some shows, performers will break the wall to interact with the audience. A lot of times, some people get confused with stage right and left, so I hope this helps a bit. Please comment below, subscribe, and like the video. Bye for now!
How was my experience as a debut director? Well, my experience as a debut director was is thrilling. I'm recording this video before the show date, so it's not over yet. So many things could go wrong. So that nervousness that everything should fall in place. At the same time, very rewarding. Seeing the whole story come together, come to life. People in flesh and blood living the characters in the story is very, very rewarding, thrilling and rewarding both. So I'm having fun doing it, but there are butterflies in my stomach. How did I prepare? I think I just jumped in, but the preparation had happened while I worked backstage on ICST productions. I think there was a huge learning there, watching directors like Dr. Fali and Mr. Dattani, and of course watching Barkha. So all my learning happened backstage, working on those productions. And in the workshops that I attended, Mr. Dattani's workshop, and I've been listening very carefully to their interviews, and I get so many pointers from there as well. So most of my experience backstage has been with ICST and some of the work that I've done before ICST as well, working with other groups. But didn't direct anything before, so nervous. What you need, I think what you need is to have a clear vision of what you want to achieve, how you see the script play out, how you see the character develop. So if you have a clear idea of what you want, then you're very clear in your communication to the cast. Otherwise, you could get lost and they could get lost too. But of course, how the script develops and how the character develop, a lot of that comes from the cast themselves. The actors also bring so much to the table. So together as a team, you develop that. But I think the vision needs to be a little clear. I'm sure I've been making mistakes, and I'm sure my cast is being very patient with me, but the vision of the story, how you want it done, has to be clear in your head. One of the advice I would give to community members who want to do something like this is to work backstage. The vantage point there is tremendous. Stage management or working with sound or anything else, just watching how the directors do their job, how the associate director works, or how the stage manager manages everything. There's tremendous learning there. So I would really encourage that if you have plans to direct something in future. The script is my own script. So this project is not just a debut for me as a director, but as a playwright as well. I am a writer, I've written stories, but this is my first play. And it went through its journey to become what it has become. What is the script about? Performance art basically reflects what the reality around us, the society around us. So this play is something similar. It holds up a mirror to the society about what's happening. So don't take things seriously, just sit back and watch us as a society and hopefully have a laugh. So it's a satire, and I hope everyone enjoys it and likes it. Thank you.
Hello, welcome to the presentation of ICS Theatre's debut director's play. I am Barkha Kishnani, the artistic director of ICS Theatre. One of the missions of ICS Theatre is to encourage new talent in all the areas of theatre. The Emerging Artist Program is one such initiative that provides a platform for new artists to try out their theatrical skills. Since the last 3 years, we have conducted a playwriting contest for high school students under the Emerging Artists Program umbrella. This year, we invited adults who were interested in directing a play to participate in our debut director initiative. We selected 2 talented applicants, of which one has culminated into the play we are going to present to you shortly. The director, Priya N. Iyer, who is also the playwright, and her cast and crew have worked hard to bring this play to life. I'm confident you will enjoy watching The Throne with No Cast. Without the support and viewership of the audience, community theatre cannot thrive. Therefore, I thank you for your continued support of all the talent in ICS Theatre. At the end of the play, there will be a talk back with the cast and crew, so do stay tuned for that. Also, please put your comments in the chat. The moderator will try and address as many questions as possible. So sit back and enjoy The Throne with No Cast.
So the flight was on time.
Not on time, but early. These early morning flights often arrive before time.
If Shalini would have told us earlier, we could have gone and picked her up. We would not have given her car for service. Maybe we should have taken a cab to go pick her up.
She's familiar with the airport in the city. She grew up here, remember?
She hasn't lived here ever since she left for grad school. She's not used to traveling alone here anymore. Plus, with all these protests, I hope there are no blockades. But why did she plan a sudden visit? Did she tell you how long she's going to be here?
No.
It's just been 7 months.
Wait.
Though one thing has changed since your last visit. We finished renovating the bathroom, changed the sink, commode, and the mirror. It might not be as good as your American bathroom, but it is much nicer now.
An old house is like a sponge. Absorbs a lot of cash.
I did complain a bit too much last time, didn't I? Anyways, I noticed the old sink outside filled with flowering plants. Brilliant idea, Ma.
And did you notice the old commode next to the gate?
No, I didn't see that. But I did see garbage kept there.
Oh no, these tenants again. I'm tired of reminding the tenants not to put the garbage bag on top of the discarded commode. They just won't listen. Anyways, let me get you some tea. I kept it ready. You want something to eat?
Nah, I'm not hungry, but can never say no to tea, that too made by you.
I'm going to buy milk and bread. Anything else you need?
No. I'll go later and buy some fruits and vegetables.
I will come with you.
No, you rest today. You can join me tomorrow. I'll be meeting some of my walking friends today.
Turn the TV on. Ramdevji's yoga is about to start.
Welcome back to Breaking News. This is Kavya Rajesh with Khabar News. Jat organizations in Haryana have stepped up their protests, demanding an OBC, other backward caste status, for themselves. Hundreds from the Jat community gathered to protest at many locations throughout the state. The government is taking precautions to ensure the situation does not go out of hand. In anticipation of violence erupting,
Blocked highways, damaged cars, and even attacked canals, cutting off the water supply to Delhi. Delhi's Aaj Party has blamed Haryana's Jatiwadi Party for deliberately cutting off the water supply to the capital. And the center has directed both parties to resolve the situation diplomatically and without undue violence on the streets. You read the newspaper or turn on the television, it feels like the world is coming to an end. It's the same story everywhere. One set of people in one part of the world is repressed. Another group somewhere else feels ignored, or that they didn't get the same opportunities as some other party. People are angry, upset that they don't get what they think they deserve. Some stories get the attention of the media and it turns into a circus. These politicians on either side use such events to their own benefit, while the people who are actually suffering often remain silent and are ignored. Everyone is looking for something. Some chase more comfort in their lives. Some just want to make more money to make ends meet. And some people are lonely and want company and attention. In the end, do you know what every human being really wants? Respect. It's almost always about that. Doesn't matter what class, caste, gender, or age. Every human being deserves a life of dignity and craves respect.
And what if you do not get the respect you deserve? Are you supposed to pretend as if nothing happened? Why wouldn't you protest?
Protesting does bring attention to your problems. It may even help make some changes. But I'm talking about how we conduct ourselves in our daily lives with everyone we interact with. Treat people with respect, like you would your own family or friends. Look people in the eye, smile at them, address them properly, offer help. Be fair in your dealings with everyone. It may seem old-fashioned, but it still works.
If everyone deserves respect, then why does only one side has to compromise? Take, for example, women. Why is it that we only teach our girls to compromise and give respect? Don't women classify as human beings? I mean, in name of culture and tradition, we make our women weak. Generations go by. Girls get educated, they get employed, move to different countries. But back at home, they're still the same. Doesn't seem to matter if they don't get any respect.
What are you trying to say?
Nothing. I'm just stating a fact. Women deserve respect too, but they often do not get it.
Yeah, you're right. And
No, duh. But government officials will be. We can use hashtags to get attention.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Ma, do you think we can record Koodawala refusing to take the commode? Nidhi says we can put it on social media and make it go viral.
Go viral on social media with the commode? Don't worry. I think I've solved it. He will take these bags full of porcelain.
My mother doesn't think that's a good idea.
Okay, just send me some pictures, will you?
Okay, give me a few minutes.
Was that a mosquito?
Why didn't you grow some flowering plants in the commode as well?
This is our house, not a toilet garden museum. What is Shalini doing outside?
It could be like the rock garden of Chandigarh.
I told you, this is our house, not a toilet garden museum. Or a rest area.
Rest area?
Why? Why are you here 7 months after your marriage?
What do you mean 7 months after my marriage? What is wrong with 7 months?
You know what I mean. What happened between you and Arav?
Nothing. It's just he is...
Having an affair?
No! It's just he's...
Gay?
What? No! He had promised that we would go on a 2-week road trip. I worked crazy hours, finished my project, matched my deadlines, and took time off from work. And towards the end, he took up some training and says he cannot come with me. So I decided to take my vacation and spend the time with you guys. That's it.
What? You haven't fought with him? And you left him by himself and planned a trip here at the last minute?
I would not have spent my time off from work sitting at home.
You did the right thing. A little distance never hurts. Now, maybe if your mother had left me from time to time.
Hello, Mrs. Sharma. I am so sorry you're going through this. This is gross negligence on the side of the authorities. But I can't blame the city workers. This is a sign of decay in the ruling party. They are only interested in caste politics. Look at the damage these protests are doing. Who's going to pay for all the burnt buses? And now they're shutting the water off by attacking the canal. A sad state of affairs. Mr. Sharma, I request you to call for a meeting with all your neighbors. I will personally attend this meeting and address these issues. Can we call for the meeting tomorrow morning? What do you say?
That will really not be required. We just want the commode to be removed.
Don't take such a myopic view of the issue, Mr. Sharma. We need to look at the totality of the problems, the root cause. Don't worry. You just send a message to all your neighbors. I will meet them and address the meeting. Mrs. Sharma, there must be a messaging group in your neighborhood, right? You can send them a message right now. I will wait.
Mr. Yadav, it's very nice of you to personally come and inspect the situation. But would you be able to arrange for the commode to be picked up?
You still don't see the point. We cannot treat your commode as a special case. We have a problem. We need to solve the problem. My party, AKP, has a solution. AKP will train all the garbage collectors to build machines to lift these commodes and crush them for easy disposal. Why should they manually touch the commode anyway? AKP will provide the technical education for all the garbage collectors, and that too free of cost. AKP will work for the productivity and health of all the garbage collectors so that they will know that AKP works for them.
And our commode?
We will talk about that after the meeting with your neighbors.
The door was open, so I just... Namaste, Mr. Sharma. Namaste, Mrs. Sharma. Oh, you already got here. I knew the vultures would be coming, so I came to make sure. Were you intimidating my constituents?
I have to acknowledge, Mr. Singh, there is one job you are good at. I am here to clean the garbage.
I did call you a vulture, a scavenger. Use your plunger and get yourself out of here. You people have been sitting on the government's backward class list for years and eating away from the public. And now you want to come back to power? Bloody vultures.
And you seem to be in a hurry to get onto that list. You lousy troublemakers, shutting the water off for the good people of Delhi. You power-hungry wretches. There is no way you'll form the government in Haryana this election. AKP has a strong presence here now.
I am not going to deal with you myself. The central command has a plans for you. You will be wiped out of Haryana in this election.
Mr. Sharma, I take your leave now.
नमस्कार, ICS थिएटर न्यू जर्सी से आप सबका स्वागत है। ICS थिएटर वर्चुअल फेस्ट 2021 का शुभारंभ आज करते हैं हिंदी नाटक रक्तबीज से। लेखक हैं शंकर शेष। यह नाटक ICS थिएटर न्यू जर्सी पहली बार पुणे के सिम्फनी और पुष्कर रंगमंच के साथ मिलकर पेश कर रहे हैं। तो लीजिए, प्रस्तुत है एक नाट्य वाचन, यानी कि एक ड्रामेटिक रीडिंग ऑफ रक्तबीज। पूर्वार्ध। मध्यवर्ग परिवार का ड्राइंग रूम, उसी के अनुसार साज सज्जा। मंच पर कुर्सियों पर 4 लोग बैठे हुए हैं, 2 स्त्री और 2 पुरुष। चारों बहस में जुटे हुए हैं।
मैं कहता हूं, आत्महत्या नाम की कोई वस्तु ही नहीं होती। जो कुछ होता है बस हत्या, हत्या के अलावा कुछ नहीं।
मैं तुम्हारी बात नहीं मानता। जो कुछ होता है बस आत्महत्या ही होती है।
फिर लड़ने लगे आप लोग। हत्या और आत्महत्या तो परिणाम है, असली है वे कारण जिनके कारण ये होती है। मेरे ख्याल में हम सतही बातें छोड़कर बुनियादी सवालों पर बहस क्यों नहीं करते। असली है वो रक्त बीज, हमारी व्यवस्था की सांस सांस में बैठा वो रक्त बीज। जानते हो, पुराणों में एक राक्षस था इस नाम का। उसे मारने की हर कोशिश नाकामयाब होती थी, क्योंकि उसकी टपकती रक्त बूंदों से फिर हजारों रक्त बीज पैदा हो जाते थे। अगर हम उस देवी की तरह उसे नहीं मार सकते तो ये व्यवस्था चलती रहेगी, फिर हत्याओं और आत्महत्याओं का सिलसिला भी। नाम पर बहस करने से क्या फायदा।
तुम हमेशा बात को भटका देती हो। असली मुद्दा है हत्या का। मैंने जो तुम्हें वाकया सुनाया उसे क्या कहोगे, हत्या या आत्महत्या? अगर तर्क की दृष्टि से देखो तो
मैंने जो वाक्य सुनाया उसके बारे में क्या कहोगे? ऊपर से भले वह हत्या लगती हो, लेकिन थी वो आत्महत्या। देखो बंधु, बहस करना अकेले तुम्हें ही नहीं आता।
और इन दोनों वाक्यों का मैं एक ही अर्थ लगाती हूँ, वे कारण जो हमें हत्या और आत्महत्या तक ले जाते हैं।
ठीक है, देखो हम लोग बहस क्यों करें, हमारे पास 2 घटनाएं हैं, उन्हें दर्शकों को क्यों ना दिखा दें? अक्लमंदी का ठेका हम लोगों ने तो नहीं ले रखा है।
ठीक है, बहस का तो अंत नहीं। डू यू एग्री?
ऑफ कोर्स।
लो, 7 बज भी गए।
बच गए तो बच गए, पहाड़ तो नहीं टूट गया सर पर। इतनी घबराने की क्या बात, आखिर खाना खाने ही तो आ रहा है।
समझती तो हो नहीं कि मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर होता क्या है। हर मामले में आखिरी दस्तखत, एक निगाह में क्या से क्या बना देना। पड़ोसी के फ्रिज में काफी बर्फ है या नहीं, देख आई हो या नहीं।
कंधे पर हाथ रखता हुआ कहता है,
Hello. Good. How are you, Sharma?
Fine, thank you, sir.
Am I late?
लेट जी नहीं तो।
सही वक्त पर आने की आदत भी बनानी पड़ती है। ये बातें सीखी मैंने अपने डैडी से। A wonderful man. उन्हें देख लोग घड़ियां मिलाते थे अपनी। डैडी की बात निकल ही आई है तो एक वाक्या। You see, when my mother died, all mothers have to one day or the other. ये तय हुआ कि उनका क्रिमेशन, क्या कहते हैं क्रिमेशन को हिंदी में?
दाह संस्कार।
हाँ यही, ठीक 3:30 बजे दोपहर को होगा। एंड बिलीव मी माय डियर, ही सॉ टू इट कि क्रिमेशन ठीक 3:30 बजे ही होता है। इधर घड़ी में 3:30 बजते हैं और उधर आग जलती है चिता में। ही डिड नॉट वेट फॉर माय एल्डर ब्रदर। उसका हवाई जहाज सिर्फ आधे घंटे लेट था।
फिर भी तुम्हें आने के लिए जगह मिल ही गई।
मेरा तो यही तरीका है, जितना दूर भागोगी मैं उतना ही पास आता जाऊंगा सुजाता रानी।
लेकिन मैं नहीं चाहती तुम एक पल के लिए भी आओ। I say get out.
फिर वही, अब कितनी बार समझाऊं सुजाता रानी कि हमारा मन जो है बिल्कुल प्याज की तरह होता है। एक एक परत खोलती जाओगी तो दूसरी सामने आती जाएगी और हर 2 परतों के बीच मुझे पाओगी तुम।
वाक्य पूरा होने से पहले ही
अर्थ जान लेती हूँ, यही ना?
अच्छा, ऐसा क्यों होता है ललिता? समझ गहरी हो जाने के बाद ये भाषा इतनी गैर जरूरी क्यों हो जाती है?
मैं क्या जानूं, पर 11 साल काफी होते हैं कम से कम भाषा समझने के लिए।
और एक दूसरे को समझने के लिए?
पूरी तरह?
हाँ।
क्या जरूरी है समझना? समझ लेने के बाद एक दूसरे के तलाश की गुंजाइश कहाँ रह जाएगी?
हाउ फनी! ऐसे क्या घूर रहे हो मुझे? मुझे पहचानना है तो अपनी पहचान करो, डैम इट। अपनी तरफ घूरो।
पहचान लिया आपको। आप कीर्ति हैं, कीर्ति। लेकिन मैं नहीं भागा कभी आपके पीछे।
सत्य की खोज टू एन एक्सटेंट, लेकिन अकेले सत्य की खोज इम्पॉसिबल। साथ ही यश से, अर्थकृते, व्यवहार विधि नहीं क्या? देखो, झूठ मत बोलना।
आपसे झूठ बोल।
वैसे भी तुम नाउ यू आर अ साइंटिस्ट इन योर ओन राइट। व्हाट अबाउट योर वर्क?
वर्क पूरा हो गया सर, बस टाइप स्क्रिप्ट सुधार रहा था।
व्हाट अ कोइंसिडेंस। जब अच्छा होता है तो सभी तरफ अच्छा होने लगता है। यू सी, इसी को कहते हैं संजोग। अब देखो ना, इधर तुम्हारा वर्क पूरा हुआ और
उधर क्या हुआ सर?
उधर की बात ऐसे सूखे सूखे सुनाने जैसी नहीं है डॉक्टर।
पहले तुम मानस, तुम नहीं आना था इस समय तुम्हें यहाँ।
मैं गया ही कब जो आने का सवाल उठता। वैसे अक्सर मैं निर्णय से पहले आता हूँ। अब तुमने इतनी जल्दी में फैसला कर लिया कि मुझे उस समय आने का मौका ही नहीं। लेकिन जल्दबाजी का निर्णय, उसके कार्य का कारण, उसके दुर्गामी परिणाम मजबूर कर देते मुझे आने के लिए। छुटकारा कहाँ है मुझसे माय डियर ललिता?
भगवान के लिए जाओ यहाँ से।
In 1995, I was approached by Jeremy Mortimer, one of the producers at BBC Radio 4, and he invited me to write a play marking the exit of Britain from India in 1947. 1997 would be the 50th year. And the two playwrights who were asked to write for this occasion were Girish Karnad and myself. And Girish was a genius, and he had a mastery over history, and I knew that he's going to come up with something really significant. And indeed he did. He wrote Dreams of Tipu Sultan, a fascinating radio play. And I chose to write something a little bit more intrapersonal, although still keeping the theme of the insider and the outsider. What does it mean being outside, and what does it mean being inside? And what happens when you're no longer accepted on the inside of society the way the Gaudas and the Patel, the seniors, are? And what if you never really belonged on the inside, but yet you find a pathway to stay out and yet identify yourself as in? And so that was really the the inspiring theme for Do the Needful. And the title Do the Needful, it's a very Indian way of saying that, do whatever is necessary, which could mean conform, please conform. So that's the the beginnings of Do the Needful. Let me just quote sort of 13th century philosopher, poet Devara Dasimaya, who belonged to Karnataka, the same region that the play is set in. And one of his quotes, he was a Shiva Bhakt, so he said, when you see a beard coming, you say man. If you see breasts approaching, you say woman. Tell me, O Shiva, what then is the gender of my soul? So I think your soul has a gender, you're born with a gender, and society gives you a construction of gender. And it's not necessary that all three are aligned. Maybe they're not. So which gender do you serve? I think it's a hugely important question, and I think all of us need to have a dialogue on gender, because we cannot just blindly accept the gender of our birth. We cannot blindly accept the gender roles given to us by society. I think it's a great question to ask. What is the gender of my soul? It's as profound as asking, who am I? Because gender is such an integral part of our identity. And needless to say, just as we respect other human beings and other souls who have passed on, I think the same respect needs to be extended to the gender identity of people around us. So I think it's a very, very important subject, and more dialogue has to take place on this.
Limjan. Alpesh here. Alpesh Patel. I'm fine, thank you. Yourself? I was away. Bangalore. Look, I am wondering if I could come in for a massage now. That's great. Is Trilok available?
I want to speak to Salim, the one in the flat next to yours. Oh, no, it's okay. I will call again. I'm a friend of his from Bangalore. Okay, could you please tell him that Lata is in town? No, I can give you my number, but I will call again at 5. Could you please let him know? Thank you.
You should call the Raos again.
They didn't respond to our letter.
Maybe they haven't received it. We got 4 responses from the Gaudas.
Had we put our names in the advertisement, there wouldn't have been any. Think you're fooling yourself.
Stupid girl. It's my fault. I shouldn't have helped you with the nursing home. I should have been a proper housewife.
Good. I'm glad you realize your mistakes.
Go jump in a well.
Maybe if you were living with our parents, they could have kept an eye on her.
Hey, don't be so lazy. I'm warning you. I'll complain to the society and have you thrown out of this building.
It's not my fault that everyone takes so long to get out of the lift. Where are you going so early in the morning, uncle?
Never mind your idle questions. Quickly. So much to do and so little time.
I hope Alpesh Bhaiya's luck is good this time. They are in Bangalore.
I cannot call Swamiji. He will only go to Manjula Bain's house. She has two daughter-in-laws to help her.
Yes, all right, fine, I give up. I'll marry her if you like her.
It's not the matter of what I like or don't like. When we are begging, we cannot hide the begging bowl.
Ba, I want to ask you something.
Yes.
Trilok, you can't say I didn't try.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
I hope the driver didn't have any difficulty finding the place.
No, he found. Yeah, my name is Chandrakant Patel. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, this is my wife, Prema.
This is my wife, Kusumben Patel.
Do come in.
Hey, my son, Alpesh.
Hello.
Please come in, please.
What a nice house.
Just a few years old.
The rose garden is beautiful, no, Kusum?
Very nice.
Are you fond of gardening?
In Bombay, what's the point of being fond of gardening?
Is it marble or marble finish? Please do come in.
Please come into our humble abode.
Yes, you shouldn't have taken the trouble.
Oh, no trouble.
Yes, 2 spoons for me, please.
2 spoons.
1 spoon. Please do have some.
Those potatoes are from our farm.
Oh, I see. Very nice, very nice.
Have you bought the menu?
Tomorrow. And tomorrow, you must give me the good news.
What are those people?
Hey!
Mariappa! Oh!
Those people?
Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Center Stage with ICS Theatre. I'm your host Anaita Mantri, and I can't tell you how thrilled and excited I am to be presenting the show on behalf of ICS Theatre. Let me start off with a little introduction into how this all began and what this show is all about. You know, whenever I try to put words to describe what this past year has been like, I just can't seem to find the right adjectives for it. It's been scary, crazy, chaotic, sad, calming, slowing down. It turned our lives upside down, but it gave us pause to think, to bow our heads to those who lost their lives during this time, and open our hearts to our heroes and scrubs who didn't give up no matter the odds. It seems like we missed out on a lot that we would have done otherwise. But it also seems like we did some things that we wouldn't have done otherwise. We learned new skills or honed old ones. This is one of those things. During this time, the world of Zoom opened up an array of possibilities for everyone. Endless possibilities of collaborations near and far. And whether there's a pandemic or not, there's no stopping it now. ICS Theatre has been working very hard through this past year, supporting the arts and keeping amateurs and artists engaged and immersed by all means possible. In fact, in a way, it has been a boon where artists from all around the world at times have collaborated for a project and come up with some amazing results and even been able to reach a much larger worldwide audience with literally just the touch of a button. This show, like many other ventures of ICS Theatre, was the brainchild of none other than our beloved Barkha Kishnani, the artistic director of ICS Theatre. A small seed of an idea suddenly took shape, and here we are. So let me get right down to business. In every episode of Center Stage with ICS Theatre, we spotlight a guest related to the world of theatre in some form or another, and we'll be chatting with them a little bit about theatre and a little bit about their personal lives. It is my absolute pleasure to bring to you a few minutes of respite, entertainment, and maybe some interesting insight about theatre. Our very first guest on our opening night is the director and professor of the Center for Asian Studies of the University of Georgia in Athens, Georgia. He has also served as a professor and chair of the Department of Theatre Arts at Stony Brook University in New York and Michigan State University during his teaching career that spans over 4 decades. He has authored and published several books on theatre, the arts, and specifically on Kutiyattam, the Sanskrit theatre of South India. He is regarded as one of the leading experts on traditional Indian performing arts and theatre in the Western world. Throughout his career, he has explored the theatrical arts of India and South Asia and has directed and staged many productions of both Western and Indian plays here in the US. So let us extend a very warm welcome to our first guest, Dr. Farley Richmond. Hello, Dr. Richmond. Welcome to Center Stage with ICS Theatre. How are you doing tonight?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Sure. Our guest today is a highly lauded contemporary English playwright in India. He has been regarded by theatre scholars as the definitive voice of modern urban India and as India's most thought-provoking playwright. Please join me in welcoming to the show Mr. Mahesh Dattani. Mr. Dattani is a playwright, director, screenwriter, and a filmmaker. He is the recipient of the prestigious Sahitya Academy Award for his book of plays, Final Solutions and Other Plays. Mr. Dattani's plays have been produced not only in India but also internationally. Many of his plays have been translated in several different languages such as Hindi, Gujarati, German, Japanese, Nepali, Odia, and Kannada. His most notable play, Dance Like a Man, has crossed over 630 performances and it continues to tour. Mr. Dattani's movies, too, have been screened in several international film festivals. Mango Souffle, which he wrote and directed, won Best Motion Picture at the Barcelona Film Festival in 2003. His film Morning Raga had its international premiere at the Cairo Film Festival and won the award for Best Artistic Contribution. His most recent works as a playwright were Where Did I Leave My Parda and Gauhar, both directed by Lilith Dubey. Mr. Dattani's work has received rave reviews from international press and literary magazines, including International Herald Tribune, the New York Times, and the Vasafari magazine.
Hello. Good evening to you.
Welcome here. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with the founder and artistic director of Bond Street Theatre in New York, Ms. Joanna Sherman. Ms. Sherman has been involved with the Bond Street Theatre in New York as a director, choreographer, musician, and an actor for over 4 decades. She has not only participated in innumerable company performances, but also successfully carried out several projects globally. She has dedicated her life to primarily working on social justice projects in the post-war and disadvantaged communities, collaborating with local artists, and working for the benefit of women, children, and others through theatre. Her work for these causes has taken her to Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Myanmar, South America, Eastern Europe, and the Middle East. Ms. Sherman has worked extensively to create all-female theatre groups in Afghanistan in order to bring information to isolated women, apart from other community improvement projects for Afghan youth leaders and initiating the Performing Artists for Balkan Peace, a network of Balkan theatres. After completing her undergraduate studies from the Cooper Union and completing an MA in Theatre and International Studies from NYU, Ms. Sherman has been a speaker on theatre for social development at the United Nations, National Council on Women, Association of Performing Arts Presenters, and several prestigious universities globally, such as NYU, Columbia, Georgetown, George Washington, Johns Hopkins, University of Aarhus in Denmark, Universidade Federal do Pará in Brazil, and Kabul University in Afghanistan. She has been featured on CNN, BBC, NPR, Voice of America, Radio Free Europe, and has been published in American Theatre Magazine. Under her directorship, the company received the MacArthur Award for its interdisciplinary programming. Ms. Sherman is also the 2014 recipient of the Lee Reynolds Award from the League of Professional Theatre Women and several others over the years, such as the Achievement Award in Arts from NYU, Torch of Hope Award from the Baron Des Foundation, Otto Award for Political Theatre, Public Service Award, and induction in the Hall of Fame by the Cooper Union. Hi, how are
Nice
you?
to be here. Yes. Okay. Good under the circumstances. Fine.
Stage with ICS Theatre. We have a really exciting interview coming up with a very special guest tonight. He is an accomplished actor of considerable renown who is greatly revered in the world of Indian theatre and cinema. He was awarded the Padma Shri Award in 1990 and the Sangeet Natak Academy Award in 1996 for his work in theatre. He made his debut as an actor in Marathi theatre with a brilliant performance as Nana Fadnavis in Vijay Tendulkar's highly celebrated play Ghashiram Kotwal. Any guesses on who this guest might be? Okay, let me give you some more hints on his various achievements through the years. He has worked in some greatly acclaimed Marathi plays as well as award-winning films in several languages. His debut Marathi language film was Samna by Jabbar Patel, and he first appeared in Hindi cinema in Nishan by Shyam Benegal. He later went on to play a plethora of characters in films such as Akrosh by Priyadarshan, Richard Attenborough's Gandhi, Satyajit Ray's Sadgati, Meera Nair's Mississippi Masala, and Bollywood blockbusters like Trimurti, Rang De Basanti, and Ab Tak Chappan. In recent years, he has been involved in films focused on socio-cultural issues such as Astu, Dithi, and Kasar, which have gotten rave reviews and won many accolades. In his lifetime, he has won several national and international awards for his contribution to the arts, and he continues to captivate audiences with his exceptional performances through theatre, films, and television even today. I think you all must have guessed it by now, right? It is my great honor and privilege to be talking with none other than Dr. Mohan Agashe. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable time with us today, and especially valuable because I understand it's your birthday today.
I haven't been speaking to Hari for days after that. I can't trust Kanta to tell me what's happening. She cooks up her own stories when she doesn't know the truth. So I decided to speak to Hari. I couldn't bear the silence. So I asked them what the matter was. They wouldn't answer. I sat and watched them eat those things. My head started spinning from the smell, and I could feel my stomach churning. And I saw Kanta walking in, staring at me, horrified. And I brought out the contents of my stomach then and there. Zareen stood up. I reached out for her, thinking she would help me. She screamed at me instead. Kanta rushed to me and helped me up. And as we staggered out, I could hear Zareen's voice. Are you happy? Are you happy? I didn't know what she meant, and I didn't care then. I wanted to come back home. Later, and so the resentment. Such wretched people. All this fuss over such a small matter. I hate people with false pride. As if it is their birthright to ask for more than what they deserve. Such wretched people. Horrible people. Dear Saint Margaret, patron saint of childbirth, let me live. Let my child live. And enough with the labor. Okay, Saint Margaret, I get the idea. You know what I mean? That my life, my one life, will not be normal. Amen. Oh, and all forgiving Jesus, I would like Dr. Gusler on a platter. Medium well with side order of home fries, okay? Hey, Saint Margaret. When I told Wally about the tests and how I still wanted it, he just touched my arm and said, sure. That's all he said. smiled. The most beautiful, unforced, heartfelt, miraculous, beautiful smile. That Wally is okay in my book. Oh, my Hannah, burst from my stomach on your night dark wings. Quicken the spring with your scarlet breath.
Peter Semyonich. Fancy meeting you here.
Doesn't look at wife.
My dear Nikolai, how good to see you. You're looking well. Notice how I'm not looking at her?
Thank you. And you gay devil, you're always looking well. Excuse me, have you met my wife, Irina? Of course you have. You sat next to her at dinner at the Vesnovs. Irina, I don't know what this charmer said to you at dinner, but I must warn you that he is a scoundrel, a notorious bachelor, and an exceptional swordsman. That's the best I can say for you, Peter.
You exaggerate, Nicky. Madame, good to see you again.
He doffs his hat, but barely looks at her. She nods back, then turns and looks at the flowers.
We were just taking a stroll. If you're not too busy, why don't you walk with us?
That's very kind of you, Nikolai. But as a matter of fact...
From the looks of him...
What woman? Has he mentioned any woman in particular?
Oh no, he's too discreet for that. He'll protect her good name at any cost. Instead, he speaks of you all day. Poor fool. I'm beginning to feel sorry for him.
It's really none of our concern. Nikki, did you ask him for dinner tomorrow?
He's busy.
The day after then?
Busy.
Next week? Next month? When? Doesn't the man eat?
Well, he says he's involved on a very important project and it'll be months before he can see us. Although he did say that with patience and persistence, good things will come to him. Oh, by the way, he thinks you should be on the stage.
The stage? Me? On the stage? Why in heaven's name?
Well, he said, just a moment, I don't want to misquote him.
No, take your time. Try to get it as accurately as possible.
Ah, yes. He said, with such an attractive appearance, such intelligence, sensitiveness, it's a sin for her to be just a housewife.
Oh dear, he said that.
y el pilarico por agua, a que puede ser que algún día en el pilarico caiga. Déjala que vaya y venga al pilarico por agua. Que no la puedo aguantar, no la puedo aguantar, se unen unas con otras como la ola en el mar. Ay, mis fatigas son tan grandes que no la puedo aguantar. De la isla Camarón, por el barrio La Olva y Cintellao, Amadane el mejor.
She is coming. Make sure everything's spotless. If Bernarda doesn't see it shine, she'll pull whatever the hair is left on my head.
That woman.
Tyrant over everyone around her. She's capable of sitting on your heart and watching you die for a whole year.
Give the men some.
They're already drinking in the yard.
Let them out the way they came. I don't want them tracking through here.
Pepe El Romano was with the men during the Mas Angustias?
Yes, he was there. His mother was there. She saw his mother. Neither she nor
I saw her peering through the crack in the back door. The men have just left.
What were you doing at the back door?
I went to see if the hens had laid.
But the men had already left.
A group of them was still standing around outside.
Why isn't a man like that put in jail?
Because men help each other and look out for each other, so no one is able to tell on them.
But none of this is Adelaida's fault.
No, but history repeats itself. It's better never to look at a man. I've been afraid of them since I was a little girl. I used to watch them in the corral, yoking the bullocks, lifting the sacks of grain with their loud voices and heavy boots. And always I was afraid of growing older for fear that I would suddenly find myself in their arms.
If mother sees you, she'll tear your hair out.
I had such hopes for this dress. I was going to wear it when we went to eat melons by the water wheel. There wouldn't have been another one like this.
It's a lovely dress.
And it looks good on me. It's the best Magdalene has ever cut.
And the chickens? What did they say to you?
They presented me with a few fleas that bit my legs.
The best?
Let me out. Bernarda, where is my mantilla? Nothing I own will go to any of you. Not my rings, not my black moire dress, nothing, because none of you will ever get married. Not one of you. Bernarda, give me back my pearl necklace.
Why did you let her in here?
She got away from me.
Yes, I got away because I want to get married. I want to find me a real man by the shores of the sea because the men here all run away from women. What she owns.
Finish her off before the police get here. Fiery coals in the place where she sinned.
No, no.
Kill her.
No.
Kill her. Kill her. Kill her.
Kill
Kill her!
Kill her! Kill her!
हेलो हेलो
आप अंदर है क्या?
नहीं।
फिर क्यों बुरा मान रहे हो?
अरे लेकिन।
अच्छा मैं आपसे कहता हूँ, बंदर बंदर। आप नहीं है ना, बात खत्म हो गई, बस
आप
मुझे
भी।
सोने दो।
वो तो अच्छा हुआ कि आप बीच में आ गए, वरना आप तो जानते ही होंगे कि पहले इस पार्क में दोपहर को जवान लोगों को आना मना था। सही था क्यों?
He does not understand he has disfigured his playmate.
You don't care for the word, but the word is unfortunately accurate.
My son has not disfigured your son.
Your son has disfigured my son. Come back this afternoon and have a look at his mouth and teeth.
Temporarily disfigured.
The swelling on his lip will go down, and for his teeth, take him to the best dentist. I'm prepared to chip him.
Oh, that's what the insurance is for. What we would like for the boys to make up so that this sort of thing never happens again.
Let's arrange a meeting.
Yes, that's the answer.
Should we be there?
They don't need to be coached. Just let them do it man to man.
Man to man? Alan, don't be ridiculous. Having said that, we don't necessarily have to be there. It would probably be better if we weren't, wouldn't it? Stop making these insinuations.
Let's stay calm, Annette. Michael and I are making an effort to be reasonable and moderate.
Not that moderate.
Oh, really? What do you mean?
Moderate on the surface.
Annette, I really have to get to the office.
All right, go on, be a coward.
Annette, right now I'm risking my most important client, so this responsible parent
My
routine...
son has lost 2 teeth, 2 incisors.
Yes, I think we all got that.
One of them for good.
He will have new ones. We will give him new ones, better ones. It's not like he has burst an eardrum.
I think we're making a mistake not taking into account the origin of the problem.
There is no origin. There is just an 11-year-old child hitting someone with a stick.
Armed with a stick.
We withdrew that word.
You withdrew it because we objected to it.
We withdrew it without any protest.
A word deliberately designed to rule out error or clumsiness, to rule out childhood.
I'm not sure I'm able to take much more of this tone of voice.
You and I have had trouble seeing eye to eye right from the start.
There is nothing more infuriating than I think you have to have faith in her. Do you think she was happy in a cage? Dad is very sad. He didn't mean to upset you. Yes, you will. Of course you will speak to him again. Listen, darling, we are worried enough already about your brother. She'll eat leaves, acorns, horse chestnuts. She'll find things. She knows what food she needs. Worm, snails, stuff that drops out of the trash can. She's like us. She's omnivorous. See you soon, sweetheart.
Chances are that creature is probably stuffing its face as we speak.
No.
Bombay, it's where the buildings kiss the sky and your dreams come to die. Bombay, oh Bombay, you got to be humble and be ready for the tumble. 'Cause there will be a day when you say, Bombay, oh Bombay, it's where the buildings kiss the sky. Yes, there will be a day when you say, Bombay, oh Bombay, and all your dreams come to die. Bombay, oh Bombay, it's where the buildings kiss the sky and your dreams come to die. Bombay, oh Bombay, you got to be humble and be ready for the tumble. 'Cause there will be a day when you say, Bombay, oh Bombay, it's where the buildings kiss the sky. Yes, there will be a day when you say, Bombay, oh Bombay, and all your dreams come to die.
Please.
Stop fidgeting with that kurti. You will tear it. No, you can't. That must be him looking for directions. Look at your message, Murli.
Which floor? He's asking which floor.
Well, tell him for goodness sake.
14th floor.
Sure, he's in the right block.
I've sent the message.
Please, Murli, don't look so helpless. You have to look more confident, please.
I would feel a lot more confident if I wasn't wearing this blouse.
Kurti. Now, I keep that unbuttoned and show a bit of your... Oh my God. You are wearing that banyan. He's coming up now and I want you to get out of that banyan now, quickly. chance. We have this one chance and you want to ruin it?
What do I do now?
He's your friend, remember? And you're very happy to see him. Kailash, come back. Hi, I'm Niharika. You can call me Nikki.
Hi, Nikki.
Hi.
I'm Shailesh Kanatra.
Hi, come on in. Murli, your friend is here.
Nice flat.
Thanks. We still haven't done it up, so it's still a bit bare.
1 BHK?
Do sit down. Yes, 1 BHK. But we plan to buy out our neighbor. We bought this because of the location. Close to where all the action is. One of his friends lives in Vashi. Heaven knows how they can have a life there.
I live in Vashi.
What will you have to drink? Let me get you some orange juice.
Nikki, can I wear one of my office shirts?
You look like a bloody clerk in them. No, you can't. And to wear just wear whatever you can and just come out.
He called on the landline. Any luck?
Lolly!
Nikki, sweetheart. Mwah, mwah. I got something for your guest.
Oh, that's sweet of you. You shouldn't have. Is Kailash coming?
He will. Just making sure that Rahul's party doesn't get too, Hello, so you are Murli's long-lost friend.
Oh, you are Yamini.
Well, I was. Lalita Jagtiani.
Oh, my wife has seen all the 1,000 episodes of Saas Bani Saperan. You were brilliant.
I invited her, so he'll be impressed. It's working, so please don't screw things up. Don't say a word.
So, how does Murli know you?
Oh, didn't Nikki tell you? I live on the floor above.
She has the whole floor. In fact, we wanted a top floor apartment, but we couldn't because Lolly has it all. To be honest with you, I didn't know who she was. I hardly watch television. We just started to chat and we became such dear friends. I just thought it might be a good idea to invite her and Kailash as well. Excuse me while I go get the food ready.
Oh, can I have some of the wine Yamini has brought?
Oh, certainly. Murli, come help me with the wine.
Please call me Lolly. I'm done with the Yamini.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Lolly ji.
Lolly, I got 46 missed calls from you. Stop bugging me.
Where's my drink?
Wow, you really are having a party.
Kailash, are you okay?
He's drunk.
I'll call Lolly.
Well, good luck. I'm out of here.
Make some coffee for him. Shailesh, give me a hand. Shall we just take him up to his home? Nah, this is fairly routine around here. Lolly will come and get him. Their servant can lift him up with one hand. Last week, he passed out on the terrace. Can you walk to the sofa?
I can't seem to get through to Lolly.
Let's put him in the bedroom. Good idea.
No,
Where will we sit if we put him on the sofa?
just put him on the corner on the floor.
We can't do that to Yamini's husband. What will she think of us?
Okay. Put him in there. I'm sure Lolly's on her way.
Let's go.
Kailash is here. Come with Banwari and carry him home.
Oh no, not again. Nikki, dump him in a corner somewhere, please. Rahul's party is in full swing. I'm sorting some things out.
I'm sorry, sweetheart.
I'm not your sweetheart anymore. It's over, Puneet. You just have to sit there. Puneet and I will do the rest.
$80 lakh plus another 5 in interest and penalties for non-payment.
So 85.
My urticaria is really acting up.
You do want it to stop for good, don't you?
Don't forget, I saw what you did.
Yes, Shailesh, thank God. Make some sense of all this. You tell me what to do, okay? Remember, pal, I used to share all my murku with you in the hostel for old time's sake. What the hell do we do?
Relax. Let me handle this. I am a Gujarati. We don't like to get involved. 1 crore.
My ointment. I need my ointment.
25.
Out of question. Lolly will be here any minute.
Precisely. Your darling Lolly, with whom you are having an affair, and whose husband you strangled in a moment of possessive rage.
What nonsense!
I have some cutesy pictures to prove it. And I can hire some really good lawyers. And you don't want inquiries into your finances or your personal life, because whatever it is that you are hiding, and everybody has to hide something or the other, will be all over Mumbai Mirror. So now be a good Jew and don't get involved.
Make it 40, please.
40. Interesting figure. Why?
I need it. I made some adjustments in my client's bank account and I need to put that money back before I am found out.
Okay. Puneet, sweetheart, come with me. He's almost naked.
Sweetheart, where did you put his clothes?
I didn't. Oh, you sweet boy. You think he and I were? Oh, I love you, baby.
I love you too, baby.
Really? How much? Show me.
Such much.
Such much?
Such much. Such much.
Are you serious? You guys are unreal.
I have never had anything more real happen to me in my life. We don't have much time. Where are his clothes?
They're almost done. Spin dry.
Never mind. If he's drunk, he can be naked also. Grab his legs.
Oh, what are you doing?
Stand near the balcony.
Ma'am, one picture, please.
One picture.
Ma'am, over here.
Look, ma'am.
Up next, the stock market plunges to an all-time low as more and more multinational companies pull out of the country after the President of the United States, Bill Maher, withdrew tax benefits to US companies who made losses on their Indian operations. But before that, let us take a look at our special report on the Yamini story. Popular television actress of the 90s, Lalita Jagtiani, best remembered for her role as Yamini in Saas Bani Saperan, who was unavailable for comment on Saturday after a drug bust on the party of her teenage son was discovered by a camera person, Naresh, hiding in a neighbor's flat.
Ma'am, one picture, please.
One picture.
Ma'am, over here.
Look, ma'am.
Please, have some consideration. She has just lost her husband.
But is it true that he committed suicide to avoid being caught having drugs?
Please, this is all nonsense. Have some respect. Where are the drugs? Have they found any drugs? All completely baseless.
We now have an update on that story from Swati Rangarajan, who is at Lalita's building where it all happened last Saturday. Swati, can you tell us exactly what the drug test reports of the party revelers show?
Thanks, Varsha.
I have just heard from the ACP office that the drug test results show that they were absolutely clean. Yes, Varsha, the lab technicians unofficially confirmed that. Also, Varsha, it is interesting to note that there were no drugs found on their premises, so the police are now closing the case. We have just received information that Lalita's son has been released and no charges have been filed.
Well, thanks, Swati, for that update. And now on to
Varsha, I see them driving into the building. Lalita, you must be devastated.
I just want to thank all my fans for tweeting all those messages of support.
The drug test showed that
It's their support that keeps me going. I know exactly who's spreading all these rumors, the extent to which people go to get a role. But I shall not name the actress. I lost my husband. They framed my son. And now I fear for the safety of my son.
Can you tell me why the police thought that your son?
Oh, no. I'm not going to name her.
Rahul, have you ever tried drugs before?
What do you mean before? I run an anti-tobacco club in college. I'm a Greenpeace activist. And I'm a vegan. What do you mean by before? I mean, before what? I'm innocent. Can someone please believe me? I'm innocent. Just stop.
Where's that woman? Where is she? Anu! I paid for all that.
You think I don't know, huh? You think I don't know what is going on? On Saturday night news, we see that Lalita Jagtiani's husband has committed suicide by jumping from the terrace of his building. Deja vu. Even as Dadaji remarked, isn't that the same building our Batheri is in? You called about your film project. Half an hour later, you call again to say that Lalita Jagtiani is acting in your film. Wah jiva. The night she loses her husband, she signs another project. That too with you. Only one thing can make a person so shameless. Greed.
Greed.
Yes. I will keep my hard-earned money. Why should I give it to any of you?
No, you can't do that. You will give us the money when you will hear what happened.
Shailesh, no. Trust me. Let me handle it.
Fact chance he's going to give us any money unless we tell him why we deserve it.
You fool, it's a trap.
What have we got to lose? Your sister and her boyfriend killed this poor woman's husband. She is trying to cover up for that by bribing all of us.
Ah, I see. Why?
Why? Because they are getting married. That's why.
Yes, we have applied.
Let me tell you a story. If you like it, I will give you the money to make it. Okay? What about you, Lalita ji? Would you like to listen to the story? There is a role in it for you too, without a stupid name like Lolly. Don't worry. You still get to play a mother.
A mother? And you think I will play it well?
Yes. You are a mother, aren't you?
I am an actor. I know how mothers must act.
Good. This story won't work without you.
She will do.
You will like Tirunelveli.
I will.
Our balcony is as big as his flat.
Still, this was ours.
It was ours. I will apply to Infosys in Bangalore. I'm confident. In the meantime, you should like Tirunelveli.
You know, we tried everything to keep this. We lied. We abetted a murder. I could do that again if I can have this flat. It's home. I can understand even killing for a home. But honor? Why would anyone kill for honor? I mean, what is it?